Hey guys, I'm going to do a book review on Life as We Knew It by Beth Pfeffer. It's 337 pages and the text is this big. This story is written in journal form, although it does have dialogue in it, so it's not really like a true journal form. It's told from Miranda's journal, and it starts off the spring, May 7th, and it goes through to March 20th. Basically what happens is a meteor hits the moon, and they don't realize that it's going to be such a big meteor, so they say on the news, hey everybody, it's supposed to happen this time, make sure you go out and watch, blah blah blah. And so when they go out and watch, they see the meteor, people with binoculars and telescopes and that, they see the meteor hit the moon, and then like a minute later or something like that, people start screaming in that, and it's because the moon's actually closer now. The meteor actually pushed the moon closer to the earth. And so because of that, since the moon what the heck am I trying to say? The weather is based on the moon, or you know what I mean? So because of that, there starts to be a lot of tsunamis, earthquakes, volcanoes, just the weather's all screwed up. And where they live, where Miranda and her family lives, they aren't near any of the stuff, but the after effects they do have. So like eventually the sky starts to turn real gray. They're having a hard time breathing. The air isn't as pure anymore. It rains a lot. It snows a lot. It's horrible. And because the weather is so messed up, that means food is starting to get low. Crops are dying, things like that. So food's starting to become really scarce, and gasoline prices get really high, and pretty soon they're just too high. People can't afford it. Oil, very hard to get. And where Miranda and her family lives, that's her mom, her, and her two brothers. They live like on the outskirts of town, so they're not near anybody or anything, and it's a long walk to get where they need to go. So of course they stay basically secluded at their house, and they take care of each other and just try to make it. And they have to ration their food because there's only so much. They don't know how long this is going to last for. They don't know if things are going to get back to normal. The electricity goes out, and then it comes back on for a very short time, then it goes out. Eventually it goes out altogether. So they have to make do, and it's like in the olden days, when there was no electricity and there was no running water, there's no plumbing. So they have to do what they need to do. And I was very surprised and in awe of Miranda. She's just a teenage girl. She's in high school. But the way that she steps up and takes care of everybody, of course in her journal she complains about it, but I mean, she's just, being human. She's a teenager, I mean, yeah, it sucks. I mean, to anybody I think it would suck. And she does get in a lot of fights with her mom. She thinks a lot of things aren't fair. But as she realizes when things start to get worse and not better, she knows that she has to basically step up. And towards the end of the book, her mom and her two brothers get sick, so it's just her. She has to take care of them. She has to do the laundry by hand. She has to clean the bedpans out and just do it all on her own. She walks into town to see if there's any mail, and and she just does it. She doesn't even think, she just does it. And I think that's really awesome. And this book just made me think about so much. Like, I was driving to work this morning, and it's just like, what would we do without cars? And of course there was no phone. I mean, they had nothing. There was no way to communicate, no way to go anywhere except by walking, but there was all this snow. It was hard. It was really hard on your body. People started getting sick, and a lot of people were dying. It's just, how do you live in those conditions, especially because you take everything for granted nowadays, And one day, I mean, literally, it was like one incident, and everybody's life just changed just like that. Are you going to be prepared for it? Miranda's mom actually prepared them really well. I mean, she got on the ball right away, and of course, everybody thought she was overreacting, but now, they're so glad that she did what she did. And I mean, would you be able to think like that? Like, on the, I can't even think of the words. It's just, I think I would panic. I don't know if I would be able to think about what needs to be done and what we need. I think I would be panicking. Like, oh my God, what just happened? It just freaking out. I mean, even thinking about it. My gosh, I'm so grateful to have a car that, we can drive, that, to have the lights and that, and the telephones and stuff. And lately too, like this past couple of years, I noticed the weather's been a little wacky. I've already been getting a little nervous with that, because just that the weather has just been not like it normally is. And you can tell things are changing. And to see what they had to go through and what actually happened in this book, like, if we ever got there, oh my gosh, like, my kids need to be strong. My kids need to they need to have a level head on them. They need to be able to think. And yeah, I give this book 4 out of 5 stars. I liked the characters. I loved the way it was written. It was a really good book. Something, I can't put my finger on it. Something's holding me back from giving it a 5, and I can't quite say what it is. Yeah, I don't know. But it's basically, like I said, centered around this one family. So it doesn't tell you what's going on with other families. It tells you what's going on with this family, which is fine, which is great. And it just tells you how they get through it, the things they do. I think that was one thing why I didn't want to give it a 5. Miranda, when her mom and brothers got sick, there was an incident where they have a wood stove, and where the wood stove started smoking, and she had to clear everybody out of that room, because they all ended up staying in just one room, because there was no furnace anymore or anything like that. And so they stayed in the room with the wood stove where there was heat. And it started smoking, so she had to get everybody out of there. And it's like she knew exactly what to do. Like to me, it's like, I don't think I'd even know what to do. She she got the room cleared out. She opened windows. Of course, I don't know to do that. But then she knew that the wood stove was wet inside, and that's why it was smoking. And she needed to do this to dry it out. And it's like, and she just did it. Like, it just came to her, and she just did it. She didn't have to think, like, or do any trial and errors. She just knew exactly what to do. And that just seemed like, wow, really? Like, there was no panic. There was no, like, I don't know. So, I guess maybe, too, in times of crisis and times of emergencies like that, maybe that does happen. Maybe you just act on autopilot, and you don't think, and you just do. And maybe the knowledge just comes from somewhere, and you don't know where. But, yeah. So, she was a very brave girl. She was very rebellious. Not very, but she was definitely rebellious towards the beginning. And then towards, when you got to the end, you can definitely tell how she has changed. And just became very, very mature. And I mean, even her mother mentioned it, so she really had to grow up quickly these few months. So yeah, I would definitely read this book, Life as We Knew It by Susan Beth Pfeffer. And I'm tempted to read the companion novel to this, but actually I'm going to read A Certain Slant of Light for the Halloween season. So, alright, hope you guys like my review. Have a good one. Bye.